Hey guys, this is Ro. I just filmed a video for you and I totally forgot to introduce myself in the beginning and tell you what it was about. So I changed into my pajamas. I came downstairs to get something and I realized I never did that. So I'm going to do it right now. So here you have Pajama Ro with frizzy hair. Thankfully I didn't take off my mascara yet. But I wanted to tell you today what the Hamburglar and bringing K2 into prison have in common. Keep watching. So the number one searched phrase on YouTube when I look for anything prison or prison wife related is how to bring K2 into prison. So I figured I would share with you guys my experience with bringing K2 into prison. So if you're interested in finding out about that experience, please keep watching. Make sure I've been in a lot of visiting rooms and I've been through hundreds of prison visits throughout the years. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but whatevs. So one time I'm in visit, and the way that this visit room was set up that day was that there were lines of chairs, kind of think like church pews. So it was just a whole, although they were separate chairs, they weren't one long bench. So a whole bunch of chairs all facing and in front of one another and rows of them. And then they would face the middle of the room, there was an aisle, and then against this wall they would face the middle of the room. So you were staring at the people who were in front of you. Adam and I were seated in the very back row at the very end of the aisle that day, and there was a garbage can situated literally right next to me. So it was aisle, in the back corner there was a big garbage can, first chair was me, next to me was Adam, and then people all around us. So this was maybe around 1 o'clock. Visit's over at 3 o'clock regardless. It's always over at 3 o'clock. So around 1 o'clock, all of a sudden, I see an inmate get up. Now, inmates are not allowed to get up unless they are saying hello or goodbye to their loved one at this facility, or unless they are doing a bathroom break. And back then, they had to wait for kind of scheduled bathroom breaks. So the cops, the guards in the visit room would say, okay, now we're having a bathroom break at certain hours, 10:30, 12:30, 1:30, and then, or 2:30, and then they wouldn't go until they were back in their units if they had to go after that. So this inmate got up, which they are not allowed to do. It was not a bathroom break, and I see him, and what I see is it looks like he's foaming at his mouth. And then the next thing I see are a whole bunch of cops that are up at kind of like maybe 5 feet in front of him, up at their little desk area, and they all jump on him, and they try to jump on him, but he runs over from that other side to my garbage can, okay, and he tries to do something in the garbage can. Now I'm scared and I move over this way, and the cops attack him, and they grab him and they get his arms behind his back and they drag him out of there to the back room. The door shuts behind me. I don't see anything. And I was like, whoa, and everybody in there got really quiet. They were watching what was going on, and then it got awkward. And I'm telling you what time it was, because from 1 o'clock until about 2:30, nobody got up to use the microwaves. And then we had all this food sitting next to us, and you're not allowed to take the food out with you. And people were probably hungry, but everybody was just kind of shocked and didn't know what to do. They didn't know really what happened until about 2:30 when Adam's like, listen, can you go warm this up for me? So I got up to use the microwave, and then people kind of started following suit. But what happened was, I was like, oh my God, Adam, what just happened? Why was that guy foaming at the mouth? And he said he wasn't foaming at the mouth. What happened was, and I think this is very, very interesting, is that Adam and I were sitting next to each other. My legally blind husband, without his glasses on, by the way, can watch a whole room of people and see a whole different movie than naive girl over here with 20/20 witnesses. So he saw something completely different that I had no idea what was going on. And he always jokes with me, and he's like, I love that you're like that, because he goes, I've just been exposed to way too much, and I could see things that are happening kind of on the sly underneath. I could see the deals going on all the time. I just know that they're happening because my eye is keen to that. I was involved in that one day many, many, many years ago. So I know what I'm looking for. Okay. What happened was the wife of, or the visitor, whoever came in to see this guy, went up to the microwave to make him a hamburger. She took the drugs out of her pocket or wherever she was holding them, and she put them underneath the bun of the burger. When she brought it back to him, I guess the cops were tipped off, or they were watching and they could see and they picked up on it as well. So they were watching on the computer monitors through the cameras at their desk. They were watching for her to make their move. So they picked up on it. They saw her make the move. He took a bite out of that burger, ingested the drugs, and that, or was trying to ingest the drugs. He was trying to bite the burger with the drugs inside so he could swallow the drugs. And so when he took the bite out of the burger is when they called his name from the stand, from the cop's desk, and he had bun all over his lip. And then he knew, because they all got up and they were ready to pounce, and that's when he ran over to the garbage can to dispose of the hamburger that still had the drugs in it. And they tackled him. I scooted over. I had no idea what was going on. I thought all I saw was he was foaming at the mouth. It was just bun of his burger that got stuck on his lip because he was trying to do it too fast as he realized that they were onto him. Adam says to me, well, he's going to a dry cell. And I was like, and what would that be? And so a dry cell is when something like that happens and somebody was accused of eating drugs, because what they do is they package it so they could swallow it, and then when it comes out of their body in its natural way, then they have the drugs. They have the package right there. They were able to bring it in because they're going to get strip searched and cavity searched after every visit. So they can't obviously have it on their person or on their uniform because that'll all be searched. It's the only way they can bring it back in there. Well, it's one of the few ways they can bring it back in there. So a dry cell is they're kind of mimicking that in a controlled environment. So they put these people naked in a cell with no running water and no toilet facility or anything like that. They are just given a pan and they are stuck in there, and there's a video camera, and they are trapped in that cell until they defecate. And then unfortunately, whoever is the guard or cop in charge has to go through the poop, and they're searching it for the drugs. So that is what happened to him. He was back. He went to his dry cell. I don't know what happened from there, but I do know that the girl that was with him was also held. You know, the cops are searching the garbage can. They have her held in a little area in the front of the prison. While they are holding her there in the front of the visiting room, she didn't leave yet. She's standing up front. Of course, everybody's staring at her. It's really tense in there. It's embarrassing for her. She's hysterical, crying. He's dragged out. And so the cops that are working the visit room, by the way, you guys, I don't know if everybody does this, but in the federal system, they call the cops, the COs, they call that the guards, they call them cops. So you'll hear me referring to them as cops, and who I mean are the COs, the prison guards. So the cops that were working the visiting room called down to the front. They called the local police department. The cops from the visiting room walked her out front and passed her off to the local police department, and she was brought in, booked, and charged. Her children were also brought out to CPS, to Child Protective Services. So that is my first experience, at least that I'm aware of seeing drugs brought into the visiting room by a visitor. It is no bueno. It is a very bad idea. First of all, for what are you gaining out of this? I've heard of women who come to me offline and they're like, listen, he asked me to do this. What is your gain out of it? Really? For him to get high for a little bit? Like, you're bringing in one little package of drugs for him to get high for a little while, for you to potentially go to jail, lose your children. He's going to the hole. He's going to the hole for a really long time. He probably is getting shipped out of there, and he's going to collect extra charges. For what? It's stupid. Don't do it. The number one search thing on YouTube, when you look up anything in relation to prison or prison wives, is how to bring K2 into prison. That breaks my heart, you guys. It's silly. Don't do it. You don't want to be that girl standing up front that everybody in visit is staring at you going, she's leaving in the cop car today. Her kids are they're going with into foster care today. He's going to a dry cell today. It's not worth it, you guys. Don't do it. Please don't do it. So, you guys, I would love for you to comment below if you have any experiences like that, if you have any advice for people who are contemplating doing it, because I know that we have a lot of women who are with men who are potentially not necessarily how do I want to say this? They're potentially being used, and they're potentially being asked to do things that they probably wouldn't do under other circumstances, and they might be getting a smooth talker who's going to tell them, listen, you could do this for me, you could do that for me. And guys in jail are real smooth talkers. I'm telling you, real talk, sister to sister, somebody who's doing this for a really long time, it never works out well. Even if you get away with it once or twice, eventually you're going to get caught. Don't do it. It's dumb. Don't do it. If he asks you to do it, goodbye. The end. Why is he going to put you in jeopardy? Your children in jeopardy, your visits in jeopardy, and him coming home to you as soon as possible in jeopardy. Not worth it. You guys keep staying strong, keep loving strong, keep supporting one another through this journey, because you're one day closer to it all being behind you. Lots of love from my heart to yours. I will see you beautiful men and women in the next one. Bye. This is where I'm supposed to add that Adam and I call this the Hamburglar incident ever since then. So now we're tying it all together. I was just on the phone with him and I was like, he goes, what are you doing? What video are you making today? Because he's so cute and he's like all into it and he likes to help me. And I was like, oh, the Hamburglar incident. I totally forgot to say that. And that's what makes it funny. Every time we talk about it, he's like, why don't you tell the story about the Hamburglar incident about the K2 video? And I forgot. So I'm aging myself by saying Hamburglar. You try to say Hamburglar. It's a lot of syllables. Anyway, love you guys. This was supposed to be my little ode to JWoww, but with the lighting, oh, are we better there? With the lighting, you can see two little rings on my eyeballs. I don't know if I'm going to keep these on or not. What do I do? That's a little spooky and creepy. All right, ode to JWoww, over. And then she dropped a whole entire bag of frozen blueberries on the floor. It's just not my day. It's just not my day. Somebody come over and clean this up for me, please. And it's, instead of me cleaning this up because I want to cry about it, it's melting and making all of these stains on my floor. So I'm going to have to mop at 9:30 at night. Somebody come over and clean up for me, please. Because this is exactly how I wanted to be spending my night. Somebody want to come over and clean the floor for me? Can you see how disgusting this is? I don't know if you can see it from there. Grapes could not be frozen pineapples. It couldn't be frozen bananas. It couldn't be anything other than frozen blueberries that left a blueberry trail all over my floor. The schnozberries taste like schnozberries. All right, I need to go to bed. Bye.